Hey there. This is a short video on Zenith carburetor for Ferguson 70 or any other model that uses this. I had a problem with this carb dumping fuel out of it, just sitting there, and it just dribble fuel out the throat of it, right out the throat. So figured, the float, the float needle and seat were bad. So I put a new needle and seat out of there. I had to use an impact driver to get the original seat out. They don't cut big screwdriver, just don't cut it. If you just do a hand impact with a hammer and impact driver to break it loose, the shock sometimes will knock it loose. Uh, you can put a little bit of heat to it, but try not to overheat it. This stuff, aluminum body's fairly thin and warps fairly easily. So I got to thinking about it. The thing's just dribbling no matter what. I tried setting the float 3 or 4 different ways, and every time I do, it still just dump fuel out. New gasket on the surface here, and it just dribble. And pulled it back off, and got to looking at the bowl, and figured, this is a lot of zinc content in here, which usually when you mix zinc with aluminum, it makes them prone to warpage. This one was warped pretty good. I've already sanded on it some, or filed it actually. Filed it and finished it up with stone. I still got one little area right here that's a little bit lower, right there. But that zinc will warp fairly easily. And did the body here. Still got to do it some more, and it should seal up. We're going to find out. It was warped out. Like I said, I've already filed on it some. It was warped. This whole area right in the center here was laid a straight edge across it. It was more than probably, I didn't stick feeler gauges on it, but eyeballing it, it was probably 7 to 10 thousandths or more dip right here in the middle, from here, around here, over to here. Dip down. This whole section here was lower, meaning it ain't going to seal unless you put Hylamar or something all over the carb surface, and you don't really want to put sealer on there. You shouldn't need to if everything's flat. These gaskets are pretty thick. This isn't actually the right gasket for that, but they're a fairly thick paper gasket. I bought that kit there at Napa. It's the Napa brand. They carry them in stock at my local store. Dipped this carb for maybe overnight. It wasn't. All the jets were open beforehand. A lot of times, what you can do on the needle and seat here, if you got one that's just dribbling on some carburetors, doesn't matter what kind, motorcycle, car, whatever. If you take this one's already been done because I replaced it. But some of them, if you're rebuilding the carb, you can take a Q-tip, cut it off, and stick it in a drill, and use a little polish to go in there and clean any gas residue, whatever, out of the tip there. And on some occasions, this one's already got a Phyton tip that was in the kit. If I can hold it right, see it. The original one was steel tip. If you suspect that the seat there is messed up a little bit, what I have done in the past, especially on carbs that you can't replace the seat, is take a pencil with some really fine lapping compound and go in there and lap the face in. You shouldn't really have to reef on these screws when you're tightening them down, because that'll sure so warp the hell out of it. Now, you don't think they will, but they will. And you can usually tell. You grab a piece of aluminum, and it, you know how aluminum feels. This body here is a hell of a lot lighter because this is pure aluminum versus the bowl here, which has a lot of zinc in it. Tell how heavy it is. They're warp prone. Like I said, I got to do this a little bit more. This area here, it'll keep it as flat as it could be. If you have a big stone, you can lay down a really fine sheet of sandpaper, probably like 180, 320, something like that, 220 at least. You don't want it too rough. And lay it out on a stone if you got like a granite stone, super flat granite stone. Or I've used them on panes of glass, same difference. Just lay down a pane of glass, put the sandpaper on top of it, and then just work the body back and forth across the top of it, and you'll be able to see as soon as you put it on there where your high spots are. And just keep doing it. Try to keep it as flat as can be. And that's about it. Then finish trying to get this thing a little bit flatter to get that dip out right there, and probably this over here, which this isn't as important right here because you can see it's open right there. It's still important, but not as important. Get this out right here and that one there, and we go back together with it tonight. And the other thing was, this thing would rev way the hell up, and I found out that this is the position that it was in for the governor arm, which is wrong. It should be, let me see, the governor card goes on there like that. So the governor on this one, and that's the way it was before I ever messed with it. The governor on this one was in this position, which means the governor is trying to push the throttle open. So the governor, this arm actually needs to go up here this way, so it's pushing against the stop. And we'll do that, and I think it's on there backwards, but I marked it, put it back where it was. And they had some spring wrapped around the governor to here, which actually pulled the governor open. So when you start this thing up, it would want to rev up by itself. So we'll fix that and get this thing back on there, finish servicing the hydraulics, changing oil and all that. All right, thank you. Take care now. If you like my channel, please subscribe, like, share, comment, all that jazz. I'm not a homesteader. I'm not a tractor mechanic. I'm just a guy retired trying to keep busy, doing little projects in the garden or whatever, just to keep busy. All right, take care. Thank you.